Hey, welcome back to Reading with Izzy. Today we will be picking up from where we left off on New Moon last time. This is one of my favorites. I don't know if you've ever heard about it. I highly recommend it. Spice level, not really, but maybe in the next ones we will find out. We really don't know yet. So definitely like a bit of enemies to lovers at the beginning of the first book. So this is the second one. If you haven't read the first one, I highly recommend picking it up. It's like vampires and werewolves. So if you're kind of into that fantasy kind of thing, you'll definitely like it. So yeah, right now we are on page 81. So if you're reading along with me today, grab your book, get your tea, your water, whatever you want to get. Good morning. How was your sleep? If you want to save this for later while you're going to bed, I won't be offended. You can log off now. I'll wait. Anyways, thank you for those of you who stayed. So yes, once again, we are reading New Moon by Stephanie Meyer. We're going to pick up from, where we left off. The name stirred something inside me, something that began to claw its way towards the surface. Something I knew I didn't want to face. It's ridiculous, Charlie sputtered. We sat in silence for a moment. The sky was no longer black outside the window. Somewhere behind the rain, the sun was beginning to rise. Bella? Charlie asked. I looked at him uneasily. He left you alone in the woods? Charlie guessed. I deflected his question. How did you know where to find me? My mind shied away from the inevitable awareness that was coming quickly now. Your note, Charlie answered, surprised. He reached into the back pocket of his jeans and pulled out a much-abused piece of paper. It was dirty and damp, with multiple creases from being opened and refolded many times. He folded it again and held it up as evidence. The messy handwriting was remarkably close to my own. Going for a walk with Edward, up the path, it said, Back soon, B. When you didn't come back, I called the Cullens, and no one answered, Charlie said in a low voice. Then I called the hospital, and Dr. Garandy told me that Carlisle was gone. Where did they go? I mumbled. He stared at me. Didn't Edward tell you? I shook my head, recoiling. The sound of his name unleashed the thing that was clawing inside me, a pain that knocked me breathless, astonished me with its force. Charlie eyed me doubtfully as he answered. Carlisle took a job at the big hospital in Los Angeles. I guess they threw a lot of money at him. Sunny LA, the last place they would really go. I remembered my nightmare with the mirror, the bright sunlight shimmering off his skin. Agony ripped through me with the memory of his face. I want to know if Edward left you alone out here in the middle of the woods, Charlie insisted. His name sent another wave of torture through me. I shook my head, frantic, desperate to escape the pain. It was my fault. He left me right here on the trail, inside of the house, but I tried to follow him. Charlie started to say something childishly. I covered my ears. I can't talk about this anymore, Dad. I want to go to my room. Before he could answer, I scrambled up from the couch and lurched my way up the stairs. Someone had been in the house to leave a note for Charlie, a note that would lead him to find me. From the minute I realized this, a horrible suspicion began to grow in my head. I rushed to my room, shutting and locking the door behind me before I ran to the CD player by my bed. Everything looked exactly as I'd left it. I pressed down on the top of the CD player, the latch unhooked, and the lid slowly swung open. It was empty. The album Renee had given me sat on the floor beside the bed, and where I'd put it last. I lifted the cover with a shaking hand. I didn't have to flip any farther than the first page. The little metal corners no longer held the picture in place. The page was blank except for my own handwriting scrawled across the bottom. Edward Cullen, Charlie's Kitchen, September 13th. I stopped there. I was sure that he would have been very thorough. It will be as if I never existed, he promised me. I felt the smooth wooden floor beneath my knees and the palms of my hands, and then it was pressed against the skin of my cheek. I hoped that I was fainting, but to my disappointment, I didn't lose consciousness. The waves of pain that had only lapped at me before now reared high up and washed over my head, pulling me under. I did not resurface. October. November. December. January. Chapter 4. Waking up. Time passes, even when it seems impossible, even when each tick of the second hand aches like the pulse of wood beneath a bruise. It passes unevenly, in strange lurches and dragging lulls. But pass it does, even for me. Guys, that was a crazy chapter. What do you think's gonna happen? They literally skipped town. Sorry, the toilet had to flush just then. They literally skipped town on Bella. Like, that's so fucked up. Like, I'm personally Team Edward right now, but that's kind of shady. Oh my God. And like, look how much of the book is literally left. Like, are they gonna come back? Oh, wow. That was a crazy chapter. I think that's where we'll leave off today because that seems like a really good place. We're about to continue from there, but definitely comment below what you think is going to happen next. Are you still Team Edward after that? Do you think Bella's going to be okay? Do you think she'll ever come back from that? I don't think she will. This seems crazy. You know what I mean? Wow. Stephanie Meyer, you're crazy for that. Thank you guys again for joining me on, for reading with me. Subscribe for Vlogmas content every single day in December. And have a great day. If you did watch this at the beginning of the day in the morning, have an excellent day. If you watch this at night, sweet dreams. Let me tuck you in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Yeah. How was that, Rigby? I read New Moon.